Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I am back with a little bit of Valentine's decor DIYs. Today I will be sharing 3. These are all almost 99% of supplies that come from Dollar Tree, so everything but this piece of wood. Now if you don't have this piece of wood, you could also use one of the signs that they have, those MDF signs. That would work as well. I had this piece of wood on hand, so I wanted to use it up. So I'm just going to create a trim, which is one of my favorite things to do. If you've been watching some of my videos lately, it's just a great way to create a frame without actually adding any wood to it. And this wood was pretty nice looking, so I wanted to utilize it. So I'm just using the width of the painter's tape as was going to be the width of my frame, and just taped it up. And then I'm going to add some red paint to the middle of it. I'm just using the flag red in acrylic paint. If you're stopping by my channel for the very first time, this year I have not shared many Valentine's DIYs. I think I have altogether 3 so far, maybe 2, and this is a third one. But I don't do a lot of Valentine's Day decorating. I will be decorating my rec room where the kids hang out. That was probably going to be the only room, and maybe add a couple pieces of decor to my front porch, but that's it. So I didn't want to go overboard with all these home decor DIYs that I wasn't going to use. But I still wanted to share a few with you. So if you're stopping by first time, welcome. My name is Sonja, and this is my DIY channel. I happen to have a home channel and a cooking channel, as well as a vlogging channel. So a little bit of everything. So if any of the other stuff interests you, make sure you check those out. The links are in the description box. And as always, if you are returning, I want to thank you so much for your continuing support. So once the paint was on, I just immediately took off the tape again, so there's no ripping of paint. And I just love the way this looked. Once the tape was off, I let this piece dry completely. And while that was drying, I am going to paint the word love that I had popped off a different DIY last year. Actually, it was one of the Valentines, and I saw that they had the same sign this year at the Dollar Tree as well. So I just popped that off. It was silver. So I did paint it for a different project, but I wasn't using that project very much, so I wanted to reuse it, this word, because I really like the way it looked. So I'm going to paint it white. This would probably work better if you had white spray paint. I ran out, mine's completely empty, so I just ended up painting it with some white acrylic paint, which worked as well. I just think it would have been much easier if I had the spray paint. So I just gave this one coat, letting some of that gold poke through a little bit. I just think it made it look a little bit more rustic. So I let this fully dry, and once it was dried, I went ahead and using my hot glue, I glued this on to that framed piece of wood. You just want to make sure that everything is dry before you start gluing things. Next DIY was so super easy to make as well. I picked up these die cut words. I thought they were perfect. They had several different ones. I think had family, celebration, and some other one I can't remember. But Be Mine I thought was perfect for the Valentine's Day. And I picked up this little canvas. For the frame, of course, I absolutely love the little wood that's in these little canvas frames. So I was going to pop these off because I thought I was going to use this side, but then I figured out that I don't actually need to pop these off. I just need to cut the canvas off. So I took my craft knife and just cut all around, and then it just came off, and then I pulled anything that was left off of the frame.
Not long ago you got hurt, someone did you wrong. I can see it in your eyes, it's like your fire is gone. Across your face, it is written across your face.
So once I had the frame, all of that canvas off, I just put it on top to measure it, and then I saw that it had a bit of an indentation where it was folding. So that was a good guide just to trim this canvas, because I will be using it, but the opposite way, where the shinier side of the canvas is going to be the inside of my frame. But I wanted to measure it out before I paint or stain the frame, so that way I don't get the canvas messy from the paint. So once I had that cut out, I proceeded to painting the canvas, the little frame, and I will be using the red paint that was actually left over on the brush from the previous project. I never actually dipped it into any paint. I just used up the paint that was left over on the brush.
If you want to talk, I'm right here, not gonna leave your side. Just feel free to open up when the moment's right. Across your face, it is written across your face. If you want to go out, we can go out. You can hide away just for one night. But if you want to cry, just let it out. I'm by your side.
Because there wasn't a lot of paint on this, it did not take, it was pretty much dry once I was done painting it. So I applied a generous amount of hot glue on the inside of the frame, so the unpainted side, and glued it to the shinier side of the canvas. And I love the contrast between the white and red. I just think it looks so nice. And then I proceeded to gluing that word into the middle of it. The last DIY that I'm working on is also very easy. Everything had come from the Dollar Tree except this stain, which I had on hand, and the cardstock, which I also had on hand. So I am going to, first thing is stain my heart, and then I'm also going to stain the top, like the roof of the little house frame and the inside bottom of the house frame with the antique walnut stain. And then I'm going to paint the rest of the sides with white acrylic paint. Take your pain away, 'cause I hate seeing tears. Once it was all nicely painted and dry, I traced it around the cardstock, cut it out, and I used just school glue to glue it in, and some of my little Mod Podge tool to kind of smooth it out in there, just to get into all the little crevices. I pushed it in. And then I ended up hot gluing that heart right in the middle.
Down your face. I know you're strong. Won't feel this way for.
Well, I hope you had enjoyed these very easy Dollar Tree DIYs. I think they do have that high-end look without breaking the bank. So make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.